Okay, Tammy Sue, you've been off to the vet today, haven't you?
Yes.
So, let's move you around so people can see you a little bit. They don't watch this thing to watch me. Okay, here we go, Q&A. Jeddy Rickett says, my litter is blue sable. They all show tan points on the back of their legs and their back ends. Yeah, so they're probably, what that would be then is there's probably an AYAT dog that doesn't have brindle. And that we call that a sable. And it will typically have some expression above the eyes and maybe on the feet. Jeff Morgan, my Merle has a white spot in its eye. Should I be worried and get this checked?
No, it's part of the Merle.
That's right. So if it's in the eye, if it's in the iris itself, it's fine. Well, of course, if it's in the white of the eye, you wouldn't see it, would you? So that's kind of a silly statement. But yeah, I mean, Merles have interesting eyes, don't they? Mm-hmm. They tend to have one eye different than the other, and maybe half the eye might be white, the other half might be coloured. Completely normal, and nothing to worry about. And interesting. Veto Loco says, good, hello James, just ordered a large incubator from My Breeder Supply, thank you, we appreciate that. Can I add an oxygen concentrator? Yes, you can. Do I just drill a hole in the side of it? Yes, you do. There's no electronics in the side, either of the long sides, and either the small or large incubator. There's no electronics in there. You can actually just take a pair of scissors with a point in it, stick it in, and turn it till you've got the appropriate size hole, which is a 5/16 hole for an oxygen tube.
You got a video on it.
I do, and just make sure that you make the hole, you know, halfway up the side. You don't want the hole to go underneath the floor, obviously. That's it.
Isn't it on My Breeder Supply, the video?
Yes, there is one. I think it's called How to Put a Hole in the Incubator. Mr. Sleeps. Hello, James and Tammy. Have a question on cleft palates. What are some causes? Hereditary and DNA test to identify this.
You got a video on that one too.
Yep. So there is no test that I'm aware of. In fact, I know there's no test to find out whether or not your dogs might be susceptible to it. Look, if you get a litter and you get quite a few puppies in the litter that have cleft palates, and you have to think there might be a hereditary link to this. If you
change the stud dog.
If you get a single puppy in there, then it's probably not hereditary. And certainly the one thing that I do know that you should be doing is 5 milligrams of folic acid from the moment they get bred until they whelp, and that can help generally with birth defects, including cleft palates. I don't think there's a hereditary element to this, but there might be, and certainly if you get more than one cleft palate litter, like Tammy's saying, choose a different stud dog. Question. DNA on my girl is AYAT. Okay, she carries a copy of 10 points. We'll put a seatbelt on, that's why it's dinging at us. We'll be safe. Blah 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 blah. Little E cream, big D little D carries blue, little B carries testable chocolate, big CO little CO carries untestable chocolate or cocoa, big S little S carries a copy of pie, no brindle. So that's a nice dog. The dog that the breeder wants to use, a fluffy carrier, ATA, you're going to get 10 points. Capital EM, black mask, full black mask, that means there's no cream, you're not going to get any cream dogs. Little D, you're going to get all blues. Little CO, you will get half the dogs will be lilacs. Big S, little S, 1/4 of the dogs, so that carries pied, 1/4 of the dogs will be pied. No brindle. Is this using her genetics to the full extent? Well, no, it's not. What you'd like to see is you'd like to have that little B in there, because you'd like to get some new shades or at least some testable chocolates, because these are fairly rare and expensive dogs. So no, you're not using it to the full amount. And the other thing is, and I've got one of these dogs, but I don't want to butt in on your deal, but if you use a full fluffy, of course all the dogs carry fluffy and they'll be more valuable too. So not that that's a terrible choice you've got there, but it's not working on the little b that you have in your dog, and it's not working on the little e cream that you have in your dog either. So Would not be my first choice, but I don't know stud dog structure, what his price is, what the warranty is, or any of that other stuff. If I put the light on here, you can see this better.
That. My camera. Cat's Chiba says, I was wondering if you could explain to me why there is such a labeling among dog breeders. I'm both a sociologist and a breeder. I see breeders calling each other professionals, backyard breeders, hobby breeders. Why can't the breeders just support one another as long as there is no abuse and neglect going on? Yeah. Somebody else, Freddie Kuba, says I wonder the same. You want to have a go at that one, Tally? No, not really.
Okay. Well, look. Jealousy. There's a big one right there. People don't like other, if I've got a stud dog, my stud dog's better than your stud dog. That's what's going on here. So, I mean, certainly there are people who are puppy mills. You can detect a puppy mill because they're churning out lots and lots of puppies, and pictures might give away what they're doing. I don't particularly care for that, but I mean, each to their own. So that's one. So the rest of the people, are you a professional? Well, the word professional means you're charging for it. So you like the word to professional to mean that you know what you're doing. And certainly, just because you're breeding dogs, whether you've got one dog or lots of dogs, doesn't mean that you know what you're doing. And everybody's got to start somewhere too, right? I think the biggest thing is that if you're looking to use somebody's stud dog, you don't want to be the guinea pig. You'd like them to be somebody who's done quite a bit of this, knows how to ship semen, knows, if they have a problem, they know how to detect the problem so you don't get crappy semen at your end. They're looking under a microscope, they have alternative dogs for a plan B if there's a problem. I think those are the important things. But, not everybody gets along the same sandbox. And I mean, there's nothing you or I can do about that. It's just the way the world works. So my answer to this is, don't worry about it.
Some people just don't realize there's enough to go around in this big world. Nobody's going to corner the market.
That's right.
In this big world.
That's right. That's exactly right. Exactly right. And look, if somebody is, it means that their stud dogs are being used like crazy, and they're probably not going to get the best of semen from them because they're probably using the dogs, if that's the case. So, yeah, there's a lot to it, and you've got to learn it somewhere. And certainly, if you've never done this before, then you're at the mercy of the people you're using, and just ask questions. I mean, if you want.
It's like us. We've been in the business for 18 years.
Right.
And so...
Made plenty of mistakes, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. And you learn by your mistakes.
Hopefully won't make too many more because...
Thanks.
Yeah. Look, give me a call. See, that will give you an idea about hopefully what the right answers are, because if somebody answers your questions correctly, and you can start by calling me if you're not using me and find out what the answer to the questions are, then you get an idea when you talk to somebody else whether they know what they're talking about.
Right. The person that's breeding your dog should know what they're talking about. They should tell you, if you know your DNA of your dog and they know their DNA of their dog, their stud dog, they should be able to tell you exactly what you're going to get out of that litter.
That's right. Yeah, if they can't tell you if you're going to use somebody's stud dog and you know the DNA in your dog and you give it to the person you're going to use, they can't tell you what you're going to get, there's a big warning sign. It doesn't mean their dog's trash, it just means they don't know much about it yet. It doesn't mean they're bad people. But
you want to make sure that the stud dog that you're fixing to use is also AKC registered. If your female is AKC, you want them to have AKC also.
That's a very good point.
But you ought to be able to look at the pedigree and look at the dog and
right.
Pretty much figure that one
out. I've had a number of people ask me about Hairless Frenchies and Huskies. I'm going to do a video on this, so I'll address it.
I have no clue what Husky is.
No, I don't either, but apparently it's out there.
I don't know.
Everybody here says, everybody pink and Huskies are created by designer bulls in the UK. Well, they don't create the pink ones, but they might produce the Huskies. I'll go look into this and see what I come up with.
Pink is albino to me. So,
yeah, right.
You want an albino dog?
Albino's got a set of problems, doesn't it? If
Yeah.
that's the case, I mean, albino dogs don't tolerate the sun worth a diddly. They get sunburned in the sun.
So bad for their eyes too.
Yeah. So again,
I don't know.
you know, we don't know.
We're clueless.
We'll
Need
find out.
somebody to tell us.
Yeah. Somebody's asking about IVDD. I'm going to do a whole separate video on IVDD and the 4-panel test. Karen Waring says, I noticed on the back here, which is the coat color calculator, which I really like. When I do the DNA on Sir Humpalot, which is our platinum AA recessive, it shows them as a lilac solid. I'm assuming that this is a platinum they just don't show on the chart. Well, no, it will show on the chart. If you get it right, little CO, little D, little E, little E, it will look like a cream dog on the results. But it will call it a platinum. So a platinum dog is a cream dog, can't be differentiated from just a straight cream dog without DNA. Hi James, you said a blue dog and a brindle can't have a fawn sable. No, I didn't say that. Now, what the mistake you're making here is that if you've got a dog with a single copy of brindle, it won't give it out all the time, and so it can produce non-brindle dogs, and that's exactly what you've got going on with this question. So you said that 3 pups came out light fawn sable with no pan points. Can I also have one of your plaques? I think you're talking about the French University plaque. Of course you can. Yep. All right. So there we go. We've got to go in and eat. We've got to have a beer and a steak. So that's 12 minutes of your time wasted. Say goodbye to them, Sammy.
Bye.
See you. Watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.